Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiv Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Udirayet. Nashtaprayeshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya. Bhagavati Uttam Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naistiki. So continuing with our discussion on Srimad Bhagavatam, first canto, chapter 15, Pandavas retire timely, text number 34 onwards. Yaya harad bhuvo bharam tam tanum vijahavajaha kantakam kantake neva dvayam chapi shitu samam. The Supreme Unborn, Lord Shri Krishna, caused the members of the Yadu dynasty to relinquish their bodies, and thus he relieved the burden of the world. This action was just like picking out a thorn with a thorn, though both are the same to the controller. So Sud Goswami is further talking about what had happened in Dwarka and Hastinapur. Before that, he's talked about how Kunti Maharani, when she heard from Arjun that Krishna has already left for the spiritual abode, she also prepared and she did tapasya to put her mind on Krishna, and she also left the body. Now Sud Goswami is talking about Krishna living and the Yadu dynasty living. Purport. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur suggests that the rishis like Shaunak and others who were hearing Srimad Bhagavatam from Sud Goswami at Namisharanya were not happy to hear about the Yadus dying in the madness of intoxication. To give them relief from this mental agony, Sud Goswami assured them that the Lord caused the members of the Yadu dynasty to relinquish their bodies, by which they had to take away the burden of the world. So, Sud Goswami is assuring them to give them relief also, because they could not digest it that the Yadu dynasty got vanquished by because of madness of intoxication. They killed each other. So Sud Goswami is trying to tell them, no, 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 it's not just by intoxication. It was because Krishna wanted it that way. The Lord and his eternal associates appeared on earth to help the administrative demigods in eradicating the burden of the world. He therefore called for some of the confidential demigods to appear in the Yadu family and serve him in his great mission. After the mission was fulfilled, the demigods, by the will of the Lord, relinquished their corporeal bodies by fighting amongst themselves in the madness of intoxication. The demigods are accustomed to drinking the somrasa beverage, and therefore the drinking of wine and intoxication are not unknown to them. Sometimes they were put into trouble for indulging in intoxication. Just like Prabhupada is giving the example of, once the sons of Kuvera fell in the wrath of Narad for being intoxicated. But afterwards they regained their original form by the grace of the Lord Shri Krishna. We shall find this story in the 10th canto. So actually this story is related to Damodar Leela of Krishna. For the Supreme Lord, both the Asuras and demigods are equal, but the demigods are obedient to the Lord, whereas the Asuras are not. Therefore, the example of picking out a thorn by another thorn is quite befitting. One thorn which causes pinpricks on the leg of the Lord is certainly disturbing to the Lord, and the other thorn which takes out the disturbing element certainly gives service to the Lord. So, although every living being is a part and parcel of the Lord, still one who is a pinprick to the Lord is called an Asura, and the one who is a voluntarily servitor of the Lord is called a Devata or demigod. In the material world, the Devatas and Asuras are always contending, and the Devatas are always saved from the hands of Asuras by the Lord. Both of them are under the control of the Lord. The world is full of two kinds of living beings, and the Lord's mission is to always protect the Devatas and destroy the Asuras whenever there is such a need in the world, and to do good to both, and to do good to both of them. So For like Prabhupada saying, for Krishna, both are equal, asuras and demigods, devtas. But since devtas are obedient to Krishna, he likes them more, and he's always protecting them. He's always saving them from the fight of, from the wrath of demons. But this pastime of Dwarka Prabhas Kshetra, where the whole Yadu dynasty was vanquished, it happened by the will of the Lord. It happened because Krishna wanted it that way. That's all. Text 35. यथा मत्स्यादि रूपाणि धत्ते जयाद् यथा नटः भूभारा क्षपितो येन जहो तच्च कलेवरम्. The Supreme Lord relinquished the body which he manifested to diminish the burden of the earth, just like a magician. He relinquishes one body to accept different ones, like the fish incarnation and others. The Supreme Lord, personality of Godhead, is neither personal nor formless, but his body is non different from him. And therefore, he is known as the embodiment of eternity, knowledge, and bliss. In the Brihad Vaishnav Tantra, it is clearly mentioned that anyone who considers the form of Lord Krishna to be made of material energy must be ostracized by all means. So in Kali Yuga, this would be applicable to about 99% of the population because they don't believe in the form or eternal form of the Lord, or spiritual form of the Lord. And if by chance the face of such an infidel is seen, one must clean himself by jumping in the river with his clothing. The Lord is described as Amrit or deathless because he has no material body. Under the circumstances, the Lord's dying or quitting his body is like the jugglery of a magician. The magician shows by his tricks that he is cut to pieces, burned to ashes, or made unconscious by hypnotic influences. But all are false shows only. Factually, the magician himself is neither burned to ashes nor cut to pieces, nor is he dead or unconscious at any stage. Similarly, the Lord has his eternal forms of unlimited variety, of which the fish incarnation, as was exhibited within this universe, is also one. So, fish incarnation, Matsya Avatar, is also one of the unlimited eternal forms of Krishna. Because there are innumerable universes, somewhere or other, the fish incarnation must be manifesting his pastimes without cessation. In this verse, the particular word dhatte, eternally accepted, not the word ditva, accepted for the occasion, is used. The idea is that the Lord does not create the fish incarnation. He eternally has such a form. And the appearance and disappearance of such an incarnation serves particular purposes. So Krishna does not appear as fish incarnation. Fish incarnation is already eternally existing. He just manifests and unmanifests. In Bhagavad Gita, the Lord says, the impersonalists think that I have no form and that I am formless, but that at present I have accepted a form to serve a purpose, and now I am manifested. But such speculators are factually without sharp intelligence. Though they may be good scholars in the Vedic literatures, they are practically ignorant of my inconceivable energies and my eternal forms of personality. So, to understand Krishna and Krishna's different incarnations or expansions having eternal form, that is very difficult for us to understand. Eternally, Krishna is also manifesting himself as Matsya Avatar, as a fish, as a Vaman Avatar, as a Vara Avatar. And it's eternal. They all are eternal. The less intelligent fools are therefore unaware of my eternal form, which is never to be vanquished and is unbound. In the Padma Puran, it is stated that those who are envious and always angry at the Lord are unfit to know the actual and eternal form of the Lord. In the Bhagavatam, also it is stated that the Lord appeared like a thunderbolt to those who were wrestlers at the arena of Kansa. Shishupal, at the time of being killed by the Lord, could not see him as Krishna, being dazzled by the glare of the Brahmjyoti. Therefore, the temporary manifestation of the Lord as a thunderbolt to the wrestlers appointed by Kansa, or the glaring appearance of the Lord before Shishupal was relinquished by the Lord. But the Lord is a magician, is eternally existent, and is never vanquished in any circumstance. Such forms are temporarily shown to asuras only, and when such exhibitions are withdrawn, asuras think that the Lord is no more existent. The conclusion is that the Lord has no material body, and therefore he is never to be killed or changed by his transcendental body. So when some people say, some commentators say that Krishna died by shooting of that arrow by the hunter at his lotus feet, at the sole of his lotus feet. So that doesn't sound right. That doesn't conclude right actually. यदा मुकुंदो भगवान इमाम मही जहो स्वतंत्वा श्रवणीय सत्कथा तदा हरे वा प्रतिबुद्ध चेतसा अभद्र अभद्र हेतु कलिर अन्ववर्तता. When the personality of Godhead, Lord Shri Krishna, left this earthly planet in his self same form, from that very day Kali, who had already partially appeared, became fully manifest to create inauspicious conditions for those who are endowed with poor fund of knowledge. So that is the day when Kali started his functioning. The influence of Kali can be enforced only upon those who are not fully developed in God consciousness. One can utilize the effects of Kali by keeping oneself fully under the supreme care of the personality of Godhead. This age of Kali ensued just after the battle of Kurukshetra, but it could not exert its influence because of the presence of the Lord. So, just after the battle of Kurukshetra, Kali had appeared, but he could not exert his influence because Krishna was still present. The Lord, however, left this earthly planet in his own transcendental body, and as soon as he left, the symptoms of Kali Yuga were envisioned by Maharaj Yudhishthir prior to Arjuna's arrival from Dwarka began to manifest. And actually, this is also one of the reasons of Krishna leaving, was because he didn't want to influence the change of yugas. And as long as he was there, Kali Yuga could not take over. So he had to leave. So Kali Yuga can come on its own time and the process go on. युधिष्ठिरस्तत्परिसर्पणं बुधा पुरे च राष्ट्रे च गृहे तथात्मनि विभाव्य लोभा नृत्य जिम हिंसनात् यद्धर्म चक्रम गमनाय परिधात. Maharaj Yudhishthir was intelligent enough to understand the influence of the age of Kali, characterized by increasing avarice, falsehood, cheating, and violence throughout the capital, state, home, and among individuals. So he wisely prepared himself to leave home and he dressed accordingly. So this is real detachment. This is the real way of ruling over. That the person should be so detached that he could leave the kingdom as soon as he wants. The present age is influenced by the specific qualities of Kali. Since the days of the battle of Kurukshetra, about 5,000 years ago, the influence of the age of Kali began manifesting. And from authentic scriptures, it is learned that the age of Kali is still to run on for 427,000 years. So total duration is for like 32,000 years, and 5,000 years have been spent. And so still we have to go on for 4,27,000 years. That's lots of years. And there are some people, some organizations, they say, oh, this cycle of Satyug, Tretayug, Dwapar, Kalyug, it just lasts for 5,000 years. And again, then the new cycle starts, and the new cycle starts. And so in 5,000 years, the whole cycle is finished. So, according to them, this day and age, today, is a really uh, the dark form of Kali Yuga. And after this Kali Yuga is over, Satyuga will come. Of course, Satyuga will come after Kali Yuga is over, but that time period is, according to scriptures, is for like 27,000 more years to go in Kali Yuga. Sounds like long time, but this is how Krishna has designed the creation to go on. We have already come to know that the influence of the age of Kali is meant for godless, so-called civilized men. Those who are under the protection of the Lord has nothing to fear from this horrible age. Maharaj Yudhishthira was a great devotee of the Lord, and there was no necessity of his being afraid of the age of Kali. But he preferred to retire from active household life and prepared himself to go back to Godhead. The Pandavas are eternal companions of the Lord, and therefore they are more interested in the company of the Lord than anything else. Besides that, being an ideal king, Maharaj Yudhishthira wanted to retire just to set an example for others. As soon as there is some young fellow to look after the household affairs, one should at once retire from family life to uplift oneself to spiritual realization. One should not rot in the dark well of household life till one is dragged out by the will of Yamaraj. Modern politicians should take lessons from Maharaj Yudhishthira about voluntarily retirement from active life and should make room for the younger generations. Also, retired old gentlemen should take lessons from him and leave home for spiritual realization before forcibly dragged away to meet death. So everybody should take lessons from Maharaj Yudhishthira. Householders, older people, everybody. That and understanding that spiritual realization, spiritual advancement is the goal of life, nothing else. Text 38. Swarat pautram viniyanam atmana susamam gune toya nivya patim bhumir abhyascha jad jad gajahave. Therefore, in the capital of Hastinapur, he enthroned his grandson, who was trained and equally qualified as the emperor and master of all land bordered by the seas. So the kingdom of Maharaj Yudhishthir was all over the world. The total land on the earth bordered by the seas was under the subjugation of the king of Hastinapur. Maharaj Yudhishthir trained his grandson Maharaj Parikshit, who was equally qualified in state administration in terms of the king's obligation to the citizens. Thus, Parikshit was enthroned on the seat of Maharaj Yudhishthir prior to his departure back to Godhead, and prior to Parikshit Maharaj's departure. Concerning Maharaj Parikshit, the specific words used, Vinayanam, is significant. Why was the king of Hastinapur, at least till the time of Maharaj Parikshit, was accepted as the emperor of the world? The only reason is that the people of the world were happy because of the good administration of the emperor. The happiness of the citizens was due to the ample production of natural produce, such as grains, fruit, milk, herbs, valuable stones, minerals, and everything that the people needed. They were even free from all bodily miseries, anxieties of mind, and disturbances caused by natural phenomena and other living beings. Means they were even free from adibhotik, adhyatmic, and adidevik kleshas. Because everyone was happy in all respects, there was no resentment, although there was sometimes battle between the state kings for political reasons and supremacy. But still, everybody was happy in all respects. Everyone was trained to attain the highest goal of life, and therefore the people were Therefore, the people were also enlightened enough not to quarrel over trivialities. The influence of the age of Kali gradually infiltrated the good qualities of both the kings and the citizens, and therefore a tense situation developed between the ruler and the ruled. But still, even in this age of disparity between the ruler and the ruled, there can be spiritual emolument and God consciousness. That is the special prerogative. So, this age of Kali, although it's bad, but but one still can take shelter of Krishna's lotus feet. Like here, Prabhupada, everyone was trained to attain the highest goal of life. And therefore, the people were also enlightened enough not to quarrel over trivialities. And Kali is the age of quarrel and hypocrisy. It's the iron age. Even for little things, people fight. And they fight to the extent that they don't finish the fight, their further generations keep on fighting among themselves. This is Kali Yuga. Because mostly the people are in ignorance and passion. No goodness is there. I mean, hardly any goodness is there. Text 39. Mathurayam tatha vajram shurasena patim tatah prajapatyam nirupyeshtim agnir pebad ishvaraha. Then he posted Vajra, the son of Anirudh, grandson of Lord Krishna, at Mathura as the king of Shursena. Afterwards, Maharaj Yudhishthira performed a Prajapatya sacrifice and placed in himself the fire for quitting household life. It's very important. He posted Vajra, was son of Anirudh, a grandson of Lord Krishna, at Mathura as the king of Shursena. And then he performed a Prajapatya sacrifice and he took the fire for quitting household life. Maharaj Yudhishthira, after placing Maharaj Parikshit on the imperial throne of Hastinapur, and after posting Vajra, the great grandson of Lord Krishna, as the king of Mathura, accepted the renounced order of life. The system of four orders of life and four castes in terms of quality and work, known as Varnashram Dharma, is the beginning of real human life. And Maharaj Yudhishthira, as the protector of this system of human activities, timely retired from active life as a sannyasi, handing over the charge of the administration to a trained prince, Maharaj Parikshit. So Krishna himself has established Varnashram Dharma, and Yudhishthira Maharaj, being the king of the state, of the whole world, he was actually the protector of this system of human activities, which is Varnashram Dharma. So he himself followed that. He timely retired from active life as a sannyasi, handing over the charge of the administration to Maharaj Parikshit. The scientific system of Varnashram Dharma divides the human life into four divisions of occupation and four orders of life. The four orders of life as Brahmachari, Grihast, Vanprasth, and Sannyasi are to be followed by all, irrespective of the occupational division. Modern politicians do not wish to retire from active life, even if they are old enough. But Yudhishthira Maharaj, as an ideal king, voluntarily retired from active administrative life to prepare himself for the next life. So every person should do that. And we all should be ready for the next life. Actually, this system, Varnashram Dharma system is very good. But in Kali Yuga, even that cannot be followed properly. Why? Because people hardly live for 100 years. So earlier the system was Brahmachari for 25 years, then Grihas for 25, then 25 Vanprasth, and then 25 Sannyas. But now hardly anybody lives for 500 years. 100 years. So how can we divide? There's no way. And people are dying when they're young. That's also possible in Kali Yuga. It's really foolishness to engage oneself all the days of one's life in material enjoyment and fruitive activities, because as long as the mind remains absorbed in fruitive work for material enjoyment, there is no chance of getting out from conditioned life or material bondage. No one should follow the suicidal policy of neglecting one's spiritual task of attaining the highest perfection of life, namely going back home, back to Godhead. So this is suicidal policy of neglecting one's spiritual task or neglecting one's spiritual advancement. So body is going to die anyway, but we are killing our souls actually. Of course, somebody can say soul does not die, but not giving the proper nutrition to the soul, which is the spiritual practices, it's like killing the soul. Soul will have no potency, no power left to do the things that it is supposed to do. So that is killing of the soul. So I'll stop here. See anybody has any questions or comments.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. I have one question.
Yes.
So you mentioned that Lord performs the same activities in different universes. So like Tuma Satsya Avatar. So just wanted, I mean, it's a normal thought that why does Lord perform the same activities in different universes? Doesn't he get bored? I mean, there are innumerable universes, so he can perform innumerable, different pastimes. The same pastime, like here it's pastime A, then the another universe pastime B, and then he's repeating the same in the other ones. Why is it like that?
First of all, wherever the Lord is, actually that place becomes spiritual abode, Vaikuntha. It's not material anymore. And in Vaikuntha, the time as such we know of, it does not have any influence. It's because of time we get bored. If the time is not there, or the influence of time is not there, nothing gets old, or nothing gets repeated in the sense that we know of. So we get bored of the same thing, doing the same thing over and over again. That's what you're saying. It's the same pastime. But the same pastime over and over again, if there is no time, means there was no yesterday that he did the same pastime and today is doing the same pastime. So by the influence of Yog Maya, he forgets what he did yesterday. I mean the pastimes. So every day the pastime is new. Moreover, it's not exactly the same pastime everywhere. There are some differences. Just like if you want to go with Ramayana, so Lord Ram performs his Leela in every Treta Yuga. So in a one day of Brahma, so he performs this pastime 1,000 times. Because 1,000 Chaturyugas there in one day of Brahma. So 1,000 times he performs this pastime in one day of Brahma in this universe. But every time Ravan is in different place. Like sometimes he's in Sri Lanka, sometimes he's in Indonesia, sometimes somewhere else. That's why even when we go to Indonesia and those places, Thailand, those areas, Lord Ram is still being worshipped there. The different uh, pieces or historical pieces are found which are supported of this fact. So pastimes are similar, not exactly the same. That's all I have to say. But his pastimes are always fresh, always new. Krishna is known as Pitambar, means he wears yellow clothes. It's not like, okay, he's bored of yellow dhoti, he can put on jeans today or shorts tomorrow or something else. He always wears his yellow dhoti and he loves it. He's every day he wears a yellow dhoti, but he does not get bored. If it was up
Okay.
to us, we would change our outfit, right?
A
We
different
will
yellow.
get bored. Yeah, but that spiritual world is completely different.
Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhu. Any other question or comment? So I guess we can stop here. Hare
One more,
Krishna.
one more thing, Babuji. One more thing, Babuji. Today, one of my
Yes.
colleagues has also joined. Isha Bans, she's also from Microsoft. So it's for the
Oh,
first time
yeah.
she's.
Welcome to the class, Isha Mataji. I hope you can join again and again.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you. I'll definitely join, Prabhuji. I couldn't join at the right time today, but tomorrow definitely I'll join at 8:30.
Okay, great. We look forward to that. Hare Krishna. Okay. Jai Shri
Hare
Ram.
Krishna, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.